Hi, Sven Erik. How are you doing?
Hi, fine, thank you.
Pleasure to see you in person. So we both had a conference in London talking about social media and digital strategies in financial services. You work at G-Money Bank in Norway.
That's correct.
Yesterday you delivered one of the key presentations. So could you please talk us through the social media strategy?
Yes, I will. In G-Money Bank in Norway, we have typically three products. We have the MasterCard, sales finance, and personal loan. And the bank market in Norway is probably not that different from other countries, but you have kind of two clusters. You have the traditional full-service banks that kind of are branding-wise trustworthy. They deliver products that customers kind of perceive are good. And then you have the second cluster with the typical credit card and personal loan providers, which the G-Money Bank is one of. So we have a branding issue, not because we don't deliver what the customer expects, because we are categorized with all the other companies that deliver credit cards. So, but we also have some other key insights that when you come on book and when you kind of experience G-Money Bank, you find that we deliver good products, excellent service. So there's a kind of big gap between our existing customers and the rest of the Norwegian population. Another interesting thing with Norway is that we are kind of very technically advanced. We have a very high internet penetration, and more than 50% of all the Norwegians are on Facebook. And actually, when you look at the segment below 30 years old, 94% of the Norwegian population, or that segment, is active on Facebook. And as Facebook says themselves that of the 2.5 million, we are almost 5 million inhabitants in Norway in total. Of the 2.5 million Facebook users in Norway, 30% are what Facebook calls content creators. So we don't just kind of look what our other friends do, but we create content as well. So what we wanted to do is find a way to kind of utilize this Facebook engagement. But there's another issue. We know that no one, at least in Norway, will never say I love you to a P-loan, a personal loan. So having a viral campaign combined with our products at least seemed very difficult. So we made a decision that, okay, we will have a viral campaign because we really wanted to try this out. We got buy-in from our CEO, which typically was a long process. But we didn't actually believe, not at this stage, that we could have a viral campaign and also selling products. So it's kind of more of a branding, social responsibility campaign.
Okay.
Now, we came out with some first drafts together with our advertising agency in Norway. But it's kind of, we call the first draft a kind of a super scholarship where everyone could apply. And
that was for students, right?
No, that was not for students. Our core target group typically is 45-year-olds.
Okay.
So we wanted to target them. They're not kind of the typical, they're not living and breathing social media, even though they are on Facebook. They use Twitter and LinkedIn and so on. We kind of saw with the first draft that you could apply for something. You could have a brilliant idea, but maybe an empty bank account. So you could apply for this super scholarship, make an application, describe why you should win, and get your friends to vote for your application. Okay. We kind of saw that it didn't quite. We didn't quite believe in the campaigns. We had another round with the advertising agency and kind of looked at what are the pros defining when they talk about how to spread a viral campaign. And Seth Godin, he made an article, a blog post a couple of years ago, and he called it "What Makes an Idea Viral?" And one of the points there was to, of course, you have to understand the idea. It has to be easy to spread, and maybe the most important thing that the idea had to, or the viral campaign had to, in some way enhance your power. Maybe increase my reputation, give me something back. Maybe I'm stating a political cause or something. So we kind of went back to the office and looked for a much thicker red thread in the campaign.
Okay.
And then we thought, okay, so we have our target group is 45 years old plus. It's not impossible to create a viral campaign towards that target group, but it's difficult, and it was really important for us to do it right the first time. So we thought, what about targeting the people that are living and breathing in social media, meaning our core target groups, kids, they're teenagers. What about
interacting through them, through the kids,
through them, and have the typical dinner conversation where the teenagers are talking to their parents, discussing our brand and the campaign. So then we thought, okay, what's the best idea? Where's the best arena to target those kids? Okay, we have schools. In Norway, we have about 3,000 schools. So what you actually need then, that's a very small amount. And of course, in other countries, you have more schools, but still, not that many schools compared to pupils or students.
Sure.
So what you need is actually one kid, one teenager in every school. So 3,000 teenagers to believe in your campaign and make them kind of advocates for your campaign. And they will most likely spread the word to the entire school. And if you combine this with a Facebook campaign, so to speak, so you are very likely to get a campaign rolling.
How did you reach out to those 3,000 kids to then? Or?
Yeah, well, we started creating a campaign, basically Facebook technology combined with the HTML5. So we had a campaign site.
Microsite plus a Facebook page, or exclusively on Facebook?
Just a microsite.
Yeah.
With voting, technology to
integrate
use as
it.
votes. Yeah.
Yep.
So the concept was kind of more like very similar to the first idea, but we targeted school kids.
Okay.
So we called it. It's a Norwegian name, so it doesn't matter.
How does it sound in Norwegian then?
Klassekassen.no was the name. And we knew that schools in general in Norway have kind of poor economy. So they usually have kind of a piggy bank for saving to a class trip and so on and so forth. So the idea here was to make a class to apply for something they need the money for. Spread it on Facebook, make them friends come visit our campaign site and vote for their application, their cause.
Okay.
And once we launched it, we had a fairly easy campaign plan. We had we wanted to use our internal network, use the G employees to use their Facebook network to kind of promote the campaign. The same thing with the advertising agency, they used their network. We had some Facebook ads, which we actually turned off very soon because
not efficient? Or?
Not efficient. And we also had a direct mailing that came very late in the campaign period.
So on Facebook, when you say sharing, and you're talking like sharing updates, basically wall posts about the initiative. Yeah.
And every time a single person come into our campaign site and vote for an application, there will also be a stream in their wall.
Okay.
So you kind of have an aggregated spread there.
Feed or spread aggregation.
So it was kind of. Yeah, we didn't have much more planning than this. We started 1st of December 2010.
1st of December, okay.
Yeah.
Any expectations? So far, no?
Yeah, we had some goals. We wanted 100 applications, so 100 classes to apply through the campaign site and 50,000 visitors to go in.
Within a few weeks?
No, the campaign period was actually very long because we had no idea how long it would take to get a viral campaign going. So it started 1st of December, ended 15th of February 2011. That's a very long campaign period. But the first day we had one application and almost 300 visits. Well, that's kind of more than I expected.
Good start,
but the next day, something very interesting happened. In Norway, we have what we call the pink bloggers. Mm-hmm. Those are typically teenage girls writing about makeup, fashion, clothing, what have you. And they started, and they're very powerful. They have tens of thousands of readers. Some of them are sponsored, and they were in the core targeting group for this campaign then, because they attended school, maybe graduate students. So they started promoting our campaign on their blog posts. And some of them even created competitions within their blog posts. So in total, we had over 400 blogs and newspapers writing about the
your initiative and the contest,
campaign, and sent us loads of traffic to the site.
So within how many days did you get those 400?
Within maybe 1 week. We had it kind of started slowly on the second day, and then it boosted.
Okay.
So on the 10th day, we had in one day 35,000 visitors. So we reached our goal within 3 days. Within 3 days, we had 70,000 visitors and 150 applications. Our goal was 100 applications.
150,000 in 2 months.
So in total, after the 2 months the campaign lasted, we had 1,350 applications. That's cool, and you can think of one class being almost 30 pupils, 30 students. So you can do the math and think about the network. We had almost 500,000 visitors to the site, 150,000 Facebook-like votes, and over 400 blog posts about the site. And we also did, one of the goals was also to kind of boost the liking of our brand.
Okay.
So we did the marketing research.
The brand perception, basically.
Yeah, kind of a brand perception. If you knew, if you have heard of the campaign, knew who was behind the campaign, and if you knew us, what was your perception of GE, had it increased after the campaign? And the results was very positive. Almost 1 out of 5 Norwegians had heard of the campaign, and of course they're very high in the youth segments below 30 years old. And we also saw that we actually managed the dinner conversation with the segment 45 plus. We measured where they had heard of the campaign, and for the segment 45 plus, it was basically their family and friends, which we like to interpret.
So in real life, basically,
yeah, in real life. So their kids that has been very involved in the campaign have talked to their parents, their uncles and aunts, and so on and so forth. So in general, a very successful campaign. So for the next step, we have done loads of learnings. This was the first kind of viral campaign in GE Money Bank in Norway.
So what's the next year next then? Are you going to use that to do something different? And
yeah, we could launch a similar campaign with probably quite successful again. But ideally, we would like to manage the art of having both a viral campaign towards a target group and also combining it with product information.
Okay.
That's a difficult task, but probably not impossible.
But it's a good first step, actually.
Very good first step.
In terms of impact on the brand, you said brand perception, so you did some analysis.
Yeah.
Any impact in terms of new customer relationship, or you couldn't track it back?
No, we didn't track it back, and it's very difficult to measure. But what we see that with the survey we did later on with the branding and perception, this was a kind of it's not a typical branding campaign. We had our logo on there, and we had some text about social responsibility, but nothing about our products, because our products doesn't really fit with the teenagers participating on the site. So, but with just a little logo and just a little information about social responsibility, we saw that the perception of our brand was kind of gaining positive feedback. So the possibilities for new campaigns are good.
We're shooting live from the conference, as you can see. Well, Sven Erik, thanks a lot for your time.